Sweetie Fox was 24 years old. She lived in a vibrant, neon-lit apartment in the Akihabara district of Tokyo, a space that was less a home and more a live-in studio enshrined to her passions. Every surface was adorned with anime figurines, manga shelves reached the ceiling, and high-end gaming rigs hummed beside professional ring lights and green screens. Her annual income was a staggering $1.2 million. A fortune earned almost exclusively through her dominance on platforms like Patreon and OnlyFans, where she reigned supreme as one of the world's most popular cosplayers. Blending intricate costumes with explicit adult content, she was not just a performer. She was the ultimate fantasy brought to life, a digital goddess for a global audience. But the woman known to millions as Sweetie Fox, with her doll-like perfection and bubbly, otherworldly persona, was a meticulously crafted character. A fortress built to protect a painfully shy and ostracized girl named Svetlana. Svetlana grew up in a small, bleak industrial town in Russia where the skies were perpetually gray and creativity was viewed with suspicion. She was an only child, quiet and intensely introverted, with a face that seemed borrowed from an anime. She had large, wide-set eyes of a startling amethyst purple, a rare and captivating color that made her a target for bullies who called her an alien. Her hair was a silvery blonde, so pale it seemed almost white, and she kept it in long, twin tails, further cementing her otherness. Her body was petite and slender, with a narrow waist that made her look fragile. But she possessed surprisingly full, round breasts that were completely natural. A genetic gift that felt more like a curse as it attracted the wrong kind of attention from a young age. Her escape, her only true friends, were the two-dimensional characters in her anime and video games. She taught herself to sew, spending countless hours in her room meticulously recreating the elaborate costumes of her favorite characters, losing herself in the act of becoming someone else, someone powerful and loved. The internet became her sanctuary. She created anonymous accounts on art and cosplay forums, posting pictures of her creations. Her skill was undeniable, her look uniquely ethereal. The positive feedback from an international community was a balm to her soul, a stark contrast to the rejection she faced daily. When she discovered the world of camgirling and adult content creation, she saw it not as a descent into depravity, but as the next logical step in her craft. It was the ultimate cosplay, becoming a living, breathing version of the fantasy. She could be the magical girl, the seductive villainess, the innocent heroine, and explore their sexuality in a way the source material never allowed. It was a way to monetize her loneliness, to turn her otherness into her greatest asset. She chose the name Sweetie Fox for its cute, approachable, and slightly mischievous sound. She invested her meager savings into a better webcam and a professional wig, a vibrant, fiery orange to replace her natural silver blonde, a final step in fully shedding Svetlana. Her content was an instant sensation. It wasn't just about nudity. It was about immersion. She built entire narratives with sets, props, and character-appropriate dialogue. Her shyness translated as an endearing, submissive quality that drove her fans wild, and her stunning purple eyes, now enhanced with colored contacts for an even more dramatic, anime-like effect, became her trademark. The money started pouring in. At 19, she made a decision that shattered her traditional parents. She used her earnings to buy a one-way ticket to Tokyo, the promised land of her dreams. Tokyo was a sensory overload in the best way possible. For the first time, she didn't feel like a freak. She felt like she was home. She immersed herself in the culture, perfecting her Japanese and diving headfirst into the cosplay scene. She partnered with a small, avant-garde Japanese studio that appreciated her unique artistic vision. Her first professional shoot was for a Final Fantasy-themed series. On set, surrounded by professionals who treated her craft with respect, she felt a sense of purpose she had never known. When the director called action, Svetlana completely disappeared. There was only Yuna, or Taifa, or whatever character she was embodying. The explicit acts were just another part of the performance, a scene in the character's story. The camera adored her. Her petite frame and large, expressive eyes were perfect for the medium, and her genuine passion for the source material shone through, creating a product that was both sexually charged and artistically valid. The series was a global hit. Sweetie Fox became an international icon overnight, the undisputed queen of cosplay adult content. She had more subscribers and patrons than she could have ever dreamed of. She rented her Akihabara apartment, a shrine to her success, and filled her life with the toys and games she had once only coveted. She had successfully transformed her deepest insecurities into a multi-million-dollar brand. The first part of her journey was about escape and reinvention. The second would be about the psychological cost of living inside a fantasy and the struggle to find the real girl behind the orange wig and purple contacts. Living as Sweetie Fox was a full-time performance. The line between Svetlana and her online persona, once so clear, began to blur and then vanish altogether. She spent 18 hours a day in character, managing her socials, planning new photo shoots, filming custom content, and engaging with her fans. Her apartment wasn't a home. It was a soundstage. The orange wig was never off for long. Her natural silver hair felt like a secret, a shameful reminder of the girl she had left behind in Russia. Her large, naturally purple eyes would stare back at her in the mirror. But she only saw them through the lens of how they would look on camera, often reaching for the contact lens case to make them even more vibrantly violet. She was the fantasy, 24/7. The money was astronomical, but the isolation was profound. Her interactions were all transactional. Her friends were other online creators, relationships built on collaboration and mutual promotion, not genuine connection. She started experiencing intense bouts of dissociation. Who was she when she wasn't performing? Was there a her anymore? The pressure to constantly create new, more exciting content was immense. The comments, once a source of validation, became a source of anxiety. Any minor criticism about a costume's accuracy, her weight, her performance would send her into a spiral of self-doubt. She began to feel like a puppet, and the millions of pulling strings were her fans, her managers, the algorithms that dictated her success. The breaking point came during a live stream. She was dressed as a popular video game character, interacting with her fans, putting on her bubbly, high-pitched Sweetie Fox voice. A donor paid for a high-value request, asking her to do something slightly outside her comfort zone. It was nothing extreme, but in that moment, something inside her snapped. The cheerful mask slipped. For a few seconds, the live stream saw the real Svetlana exhausted, empty, and on the verge of tears. She quickly forced the smile back on, finished the stream, and then shut down her computer. She sat in the silence of her neon-lit room, surrounded by a fortune in collectibles, and felt a loneliness so absolute it was suffocating. She was the most desired woman on the internet, and she had never felt more unseen. She canceled all her upcoming commitments for a month, a move that sent her management into a panic. She didn't leave her apartment. She just stopped. She took off the orange wig and looked at her silver hair in the mirror. She removed the violet contacts and stared at her own natural, amethyst eyes. She hadn't truly looked at Svetlana in years. She was a stranger. She spent days just crying, grieving for the girl she had erased. She realized that in her quest to escape Svetlana, she had built a gilded cage for her. Her recovery was a slow, deliberate process. She started a new, secret journal, writing in Russian for the first time in years. She began to reintroduce small pieces of Svetlana into her Sweetie Fox brand. She posted a picture without the wig, showing her natural silver hair, explaining it was her real-life character. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Her fans found her even more fascinating, more real. She started streaming herself just playing video games, in her normal clothes, speaking in her natural, softer voice, sometimes even in Russian. It became her most popular content. She had stumbled upon a revolutionary idea. Authenticity was the ultimate fantasy. She didn't have to kill Svetlana to be Sweetie Fox. She could integrate them. She started being more selective with her cosplay content, focusing on characters she had a genuine, deep connection with. The performances became even more powerful because they were no longer a complete escape. They were an expression of a more whole, complex person. Now, at 24, Sweetie Fox is a more integrated, healthier person. She still lives in her Akihabara apartment, but it now has a corner that is just for Svetlana, a quiet space with no cameras, where she can read, draw, and just be. She has started to build genuine friendships outside the industry. Her income, while still massive, is now managed with a focus on long-term stability rather than relentless growth. Her story is a modern fable about the price of internet fame and the journey to self-reclamation. She became a superstar by creating a perfect fantasy, but she found true peace and power only when she dared to reveal the imperfect, real girl hiding inside it.